With football season upon us now, there's a lot happening in the news, so be sure to subscribe to my other channel, JG9 News, where I give you up-to-the-minute updates on everything happening in the NFL in a completely relaxed, unscripted format, and I give my thoughts on everything taking place around the National Football League today. And now, on with our feature presentation. December 3rd, 2006. It's week 13 of the NFL season, and we find ourselves over in Denver for a Sunday Night Football battle between two former AFC West rivals who now find themselves in opposing conferences in the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. And what will definitely be the biggest game that these two teams ever play against each other. Joking aside, this is an absolutely monumental game for both of these teams, and it's the primetime game on NBC for a reason. Denver enters this one at 7-4, needing to win this game to have any shot at catching the San Diego Chargers for the division lead, as they entered Sunday 2 games up. The Broncos are also right in the middle of an intense wildcard race, as 5 teams sit with 6 or 7 wins and are fighting for just 2 spots, so there's not a lot of room for error. As for the Seahawks, a win here would give them a 3-game cushion in the NFC West with 4 to play, and would basically ensure the fact that the defending NFC champions go back to the postseason. There's a lot on the line here, so any coaching screw-ups are going to be magnified to an insane degree, which, yeah, we'll get to that. But before we do get to that, be sure to hit that like button down below, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we post on this channel. We post every single day about the weird and wacky history of the NFL, so if you like that sort of stuff, and like learning new things about the National Football League that you might not have known of before, then this is the place for you. Thanks in advance for your support as we try and hit 70,000 subscribers. With the Broncos leading 10-7, they're faced with 3rd down at the Seahawks' 34-yard line. Jay Cutler completes a 9-yard pass to Nate Jackson, which makes it an easier field goal, but it still brings up 4th down. Now, if you're Denver, you have a few options here. You can line up to go for it if you want to get the touchdown potentially. You can let the clock run down, call a timeout at the end, and then kick the field goal to all but ensure that the Seahawks won't touch the ball again, and you go into the halftime break with the lead regardless of what happens. You can, call a timeout right there? That doesn't seem to make any sense. Not sure why you do that. Now you have less time to score a touchdown if that's your plan, but you give the Seahawks more time to potentially drive down the field if the kick misses, or if they want to do something after you score. This seems like a worst of both worlds scenario. This is the one thing you couldn't do. And they're going to line up for the field goal? Why not just take it all the way down then? All right, this is stupid. This is really freaking stupid. I'm not sure why you would call a timeout right there. But let's just see what the heck happens next as one of the best kickers the sport has ever seen, Jason Elam, goes out for a 43-yard try.
This year.
This is the toughest thing in this league to figure out the ruling.
Meanwhile, you've got Elam taking the snap and picking up the 1st down at the 22-yard line. But now the clock is running. You still have to take a timeout. I mean, that's all well and good. But you know what this is going to amount to? It's going to amount to taking a timeout and kicking a field goal again.
It's going to amount to nothing, yeah.
I know. They better take a timeout.
Right, if he's going to go for it on 4th down, he wasted too much time before he took the timeout.
Yeah.
If he let that time go, then you have to kick the field goal.
Yep.
So that didn't make sense either way.
There is no way you just did that. You just called a fake field goal and risked not getting the 1st down and sacrificing field position to the Seahawks just so that you could run the clock out and call another field goal that's 2 yards closer? Did my eyes just see that right? Did I genuinely just see that right? Don't get me wrong, this was already really stupid. Like, really freaking stupid. But I've got to know what happened after your kicker got tackled like that, and how the ensuing play would go, and whether your kicker would be in any jeopardy.
41-yard attempt for Elam. And it's good, but I'll tell you, he's limping away. He's limping away. He hurt himself on that play. And that could be a huge loss for the Denver Broncos. Another look here.
Here's a play, and well, that's a field goal there. I mean, I don't think he heard it there, Al. I think he heard it on the play before.
No question.
Thought so. Welcome to Dumb Decisions. Before I break down what happened here, this whole series is about taking an in-depth look at decisions made during games that were clearly awful from the start. This isn't something to look bad in hindsight. Rather, this is something to look awful almost immediately. These are moves where your gut instinct tells you right away that there is no way this can possibly work. And sure enough, your gut instinct was smarter than that of an NFL head coach. And for this one, we're taking a look at the mind of Denver Broncos head coach Mike Shanahan. Obviously, Shanahan was a great coach for the Broncos for a long period of time, and played a big part in why the team won back-to-back Super Bowls in the late 90s. But by this point in his career, yeah, the man had lost his touch. As to say that 2006 was rough from a coaching standpoint would be putting it lightly. You had his atrocious timeout management during the regular season finale in their stunning loss to the San Francisco 49ers, which you can learn more about by clicking the card in the upper right corner. And you had whatever the heck this fake field goal was. The funny part about this dumb decision is that it actually worked. In terms of accomplishing the objective at hand, this play got the first down and moved the chains. Like, the play was, objectively speaking, a successful fourth down conversion in the box score. But at what cost? At what freaking cost? Because even though this technically worked, I guess, this is not exempt from dumb decisions whatsoever, especially considering the fact that, to the shock of no one, the kicker got injured after this. So with that being said, let's take a look at why calling a fake field goal on 4th and 1 from the 26-yard line with little time left in the first half is a really bad idea. And I guess the way to do this is to break down the risk and reward of going for it there. Because when I talk about that, plays like this one are exactly what I mean. Where's the reward? Seriously, where the heck is the reward? Is the reward in the room with us right now? Alright, you got the first down. Congratulations. Guess what the next play is? That's right, a field goal from a very similar distance. You turned a 43-yard field goal into a 41-yard field goal, and the odds of making a 43-yard kick are basically the same as the odds of making a 41-yard kick, especially with a kicker of Jason Elam's caliber. In fact, scratch that. Your odds of making the 41-yard kick are worse than the 43-yard kick, because even though they're roughly the same distance, the 43-yard kick is coming with your kicker having not been hit and falling down just a few seconds before. It's like if you have to run 100 meters carrying 8-pound weights versus carrying 7-pound weights. But with the 7-pound weights, you are just kicked in the nuts for 30 seconds straight. Yes, the 8-pound weights are heavier, but it's only by a hair. I'm definitely running faster with those than the 7-pounders after my nuts took a beating. So the reward is a couple extra yards when it was already an extremely makeable field goal and when you were never going to call another play. That's the reward? That doesn't seem to make a ton of sense, especially considering the obvious risk, which we'll get to in just a bit. And maybe I would somewhat understand this strategy, somewhat, if Mike Shanahan knew a thing or two about clock management. The third down play ended with 47 seconds left on the clock. So when it was officially 4th and 1 and the 40-second play clock started, there were 47 seconds. You then proceeded to wait until there were 24 seconds left to call a timeout. So you waited 23 seconds. Why not just call the timeout right away? If you want to score a touchdown, then you call the timeout right away so you have more opportunities to do so. That's just common sense. You have a better chance at scoring a touchdown if you have 47 seconds left versus 24 seconds left, because you can call roughly double the plays. Or, after burning your second timeout to set up for that fake field goal, why not call the timeout right away with 16 seconds left so you have time to run 2 or 3 more plays to the end zone to try and get that touchdown? There were many ways that you could have played this. Calling the timeout right away to maximize your touchdown chances, waiting until 1 second on the play clock to call a timeout to kick the field goal so the Seahawks can't touch the ball again no matter what, or calling the timeout after Jason Elam got the first down so you had more chances of getting a touchdown. Instead, you chose the worst option possible, and the option that defied all logic and called a fake field goal to move up 2 whole yards and just do it again. And obviously, there are going to be times where moving it up a few yards on a field goal will make a difference, and where a play like this could make sense. If you're down by 3 and it's a 65-yard field goal and it's 4th and 1, maybe you call a play like this to get your kicker into closer range. I would at least sort of understand the logic there. He can't reach from 65, but maybe he can reach from 62. But to move up from the 43-yard field goal to the 41-yard field goal in the NFL at Mile High with Jason Elam as your kicker, as in the man who literally held the NFL record at the time for the longest field goal in league history and who can reach from 43 in his sleep? What's the point of this? Why risk the possibility that this doesn't get picked up and you turn the ball over on downs and give it back to Seattle if the reward is just the same exact thing you were going to do before? Why risk the possibility that your kicker gets injured if the reward is the exact same thing you were going to do before? Why do any of this? I'll give you an example of what this is like. Let's say you're playing Jeopardy. You've got $10,000 and both of your opponents have $9,999. It's the final question of the Double Jeopardy board. You're in control, and you get the daily double, and you decide to wager $2. What the heck is the point of that bet? I get betting everything if it's a category you're comfortable with so that you can win right then and there. I get betting nothing so you have the lead going into Final Jeopardy. But a $2 bet? That can only hurt you. Get it right and nothing changes. You're still leading, but by a marginal amount to the point where it doesn't matter because your betting strategy or Final Jeopardy won't change. Get it wrong, and you're now in 3rd place. The same thing applies here, where if you get the first down, nothing changes, and you're still lining up for a field goal from the same distance. But if you don't get the first down, you walk away with nothing, walk away having given possession back to the opposition with a chance for them to do something, and you walk away with an injured kicker. Because here's the thing with a play this stupid. The only, and I truly mean this, the only way that you think this is a genuinely good idea is if you think that Jason Elam can score a touchdown from there, and that you be able to fool the Seattle defense so badly that a 36-year-old kicker who hadn't run since he had to work out for teams at the Combine and a Pro Day back in 1993 would be able to outrun everyone after taking off from his own 35-yard line and having to deal with the sideline as a 12th defender. Again, this guy had not run since the days of the NFL on CBS in the NFC era. Fox did not have the rights to NFL games the last time he actually had to run. You didn't honestly think that Jason Elam could score here, did he, Coach Shanahan? Please don't tell me you actually thought he could score from here. Please don't tell me you actually thought that... I'm sorry, what? A 2-time Super Bowl winning coach and a potential Hall of Fame coach genuinely thought that a 36-year-old kicker who'd be taking off from his own 35-yard line would score and would outrun everyone. It's like the Cardinals-Cowboys fake field goal from the Monday Night Football game in 1988 all over again, which you can learn more about by clicking the card in the upper right corner. If this was a touchdown somehow, in the insane universe if this was a touchdown, then it would go down officially as a 25-yard touchdown run. In the post-merger era, there had been a grand total of 0 kickers to run for 25 yards over the course of an entire season, let alone 25 yards on one singular play. Heck, no kicker had even run for more than 20 yards over the course of an entire season, let alone one singular play. It doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen, and there's a reason for that. Kickers are slow. Kickers are unathletic. Kickers aren't used to having the football in their hands while being chased down by linemen who can run a 4.5. That is not why kickers play in the NFL. So for that play to work, you would have needed a 36-year-old Jason Elam to literally set NFL history by running for a 25-yard touchdown when no kicker since the merger had even come close to doing that over an entire season's body of work. And you thought that it was possible and that this play made sense. Genius. Absolutely genius. Hope it was worth it. hope having your kicker be seriously injured in the middle of the game, in the middle of a playoff race, by getting those 2 extra yards was worth it. And making this play even more insane in the game between these two teams behind me right here is the fact that Jason Elam in 2006 was absolutely money as a kicker. He's one of the greatest kickers of all time, but in 2006 he was incredible. He was 27 for 29, hitting on over 93% of his kicks, which was the second highest accuracy percentage in the NFL, only 0.2 of a percentage point behind Matt Stover. In fact, at the time in his career, statistically speaking, this was the best season that Jason Elam ever had. And Mike Shanahan, for some reason, was willing to throw it all away in the middle of a playoff race for 2 extra yards, and was willing to put his kicker in jeopardy for 2 extra yards that he clearly did not need. I don't care if this play worked. I don't care that the play didn't matter at the end of the day. This is still one of the dumbest things I've ever seen a coach do, and it's up there with one of the worst and stupidest fake field goal attempts in NFL history. So what do we learn from all of this? I'm not saying that you should never try a fake field goal, because trust me, that is not the point of this video. That should not be the takeaway of this video, and I appreciate well-executed fake field goals as much as anyone. However, if you are going to try a fake field goal, don't do it in this spot. If the purpose of your fake field goal is to get marginally closer to try a field goal from a practically identical distance, when your kicker does not need to get any closer, then you should probably not do that. If the plan after running your fake field goal, should it work out, is to try another field goal immediately, then you should probably not do that. If you have a good kicker, and you're going to risk him for an injury when he's in the latter half of his 30s and can't run, then you should probably not do that. And if you genuinely think that a kicker can score on a 25-yard touchdown run, and the only way this play can genuinely work is if that happens, which has about the same odds of happening as the odds of me being LeBron James in a game of basketball one-on-one, then you need to rethink everything you know about football. You really do. Because when all these elements are in play, you can't exactly be surprised when this play backfires. Talk about a dumb decision. Get your official Jaguar Gear 9 merchandise by going to jj9shop.com, and be sure to like and subscribe, as it really helps the channel out a lot. Join me every Wednesday night where we'll play NFL Trivia for cash prizes at 9 p.m. Eastern over on Twitch. To learn more about the history of college football, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 8. To learn more about the history of Major League Baseball, subscribe to Jaguar Gator 7. Also, special thanks to all of our Patreon supporters for helping out the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. See how you can become a patron and request future video topics in the description below.